The world knows me as Kiya, but I am first a listener. I listen to the whispers carried on the wind and the stories told by the roots deep beneath our feet. Today, on the 27th of September, 2025, I knelt in the red soil of my home in Kenya. My eyes were closed. My spirit reached out, seeking the familiar hum of life. But a new sound met me. It was not a song, it was a cry, a low, persistent ache that vibrated through the ground and into the very marrow of my bones. This was the earth's pain, a deep and harrowing frequency of suffering that spoke of exhaustion and despair. The land was tired. It was hungry. This was not a sudden event. It was a slow poisoning, a gradual silencing of the planet's vibrant chorus. I could feel it in the way the millet stalks stood, their heads heavy but their spirits hollow. I could sense it in the dust that choked the air, carrying not the scent of rain and growth, but the arid smell of defeat. The earth was speaking to me, showing me visions of vast uniform fields where diversity once thrived. It showed me farmers with worry etched into their faces, their hands empty when they should have been full of seeds for the next season. The lifeblood of our world, the sacred promise of a seed, was being drained away, and the planet was screaming in silence. The trance deepened, and the visions became clearer, more urgent. I saw fields of golden corn, beautiful but lifeless. Their kernels held no future. They were designed to grow once and then die forever. This was a violation of nature's most sacred law, the law of continuation, of passing life from one generation to the next. The earth showed me its sorrow through the wilting of ancient baobab trees and the quiet disappearance of butterflies that no longer found the flowers they needed. It was a grief so profound that it shook my soul, a quiet apocalypse unfolding not with a bang, but with the silent sterilization of a single precious seed. When I finally opened my eyes, tears were streaming down my face, mixing with the red dust on my cheeks. The pain I felt was not just my own, it was the shared agony of the soil, the water, and the air. I knew then that my life could not follow the path laid out for me. My purpose was not to live in comfort while the world outside my window withered. My purpose was to answer the earth's call. I had to find the source of this pain. I had to fight for the future. I had to become a warrior for the seeds. My search for the source of the earth's pain led me to a single monolithic name, Genexia. This corporation was a giant, its shadow stretching across every continent. Sterile towers of glass, steel, detached from the living soil they sought to control. Genexia presented itself as a savior, a provider of food for a hungry world. They promised bigger yields, stronger crops, a future free from famine, but their promises were chains. They had mastered genetic modification, creating what they called Terminator seeds, a cruel trick. One bountiful harvest sterile grains. They could not be saved, they could not be replanted, a declaration of war on nature itself. For thousands of years, farming was a cycle of trust, partnership with the earth. Farmers saved their best seeds, selected for traits, adapted to local climate, adapted to local soil. A dance of co-creation, a legacy passed down through generations. My decision was a quiet rebellion. I walked away from a life of immense wealth and privilege, taking only what I needed to begin my true work. My inheritance would become the fuel for our resistance. I began my search for others who heard the earth's cry, individuals whose skills were as unique as the seeds we sought to save. I did not search for soldiers or politicians, I searched for guardians. The first was Ben, a brilliant hacker from the bustling streets of Chicago, USA. He could navigate the digital world as skillfully as a farmer reads the sky. He saw information as a seed, something that needed to be liberated and shared freely to grow. From the vibrant landscapes of Brazil, I found Elena. She was a botanist and a seed keeper, with hands that understood the language of plants. Her family had been protecting a collection of rare Amazonian seeds for generations, hiding them from corporations and governments. She moved with the quiet grace of the forest itself, her knowledge of plant genetics a living library. Next, our path led us to the mountains of Japan, where we met Kenji. He was a master of logistics and disguise, a former journalist who had exposed corporate corruption and learned how to move unseen through the world's most difficult places. He was quiet and observant, a shadow who could get us in and out of any situation. Kenji believed that the truth, like a seed, must be planted in the right place at the right time to grow into action. He saw our mission as the most important story he would ever be a part of. He would be our guide, our wayfinder through the shadows. Together we were the harvesters, Ben, the digital ghost, Elena, the life-bringer, Kenji, the unseen pathfinder, and me, Kiya, the listener. We were a global family, united by a single purpose, to break Genexia's chains and return the seeds to the people. Our first mission was a whisper, a rumor of a place high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. It was an old Incan site, a place of spiritual power. Genexia had co-opted it, building a secret vault deep within the mountain. Silhouette of four figures carefully making their way down a steep narrow passage into a dimly lit high-tech vault filled with rows of labeled containers. They called it a gene bank, a fortress to protect their valuable genetic assets. But we knew it was a prison. It held thousands of ancestral varieties of quinoa, potato, amaranth, the sacred foods of the Andes, stolen from the local farmers and locked away. Our mission was to liberate them. The risk was immense. The facility was protected by state-of-the-art security, both digital and physical. It was our first true test as the harvesters. The journey itself was a pilgrimage. We traveled not as invaders, but as humble students of the land. Elena taught us to recognize the wild herbs that offered us camouflage and sustenance. Kenji guided us along ancient, forgotten trails, his movements as silent as a puma's. As we climbed higher, the air grew thin, but my spirit felt stronger. I could hear the mountain. It knew we were there. It knew our purpose. I felt its ancient energy lending us strength, cloaking us in its embrace. The mountain itself wanted its seeds to be free. It was on our side. The infiltration happened under the cover of a moonless night. Ben, from a small, hidden camp miles away, became a digital phantom,